Blog Talk Radio. Has anyone ever told you you dream too big, that you have too many ideas, that you need to be realistic? What if there was a career and lifestyle that you could completely design yourself that enables you to do what makes your heart truly sing and helps millions of people benefit from what you have to offer? One that provided you with all the money you need to thrive, not just survive. That is the life of an enlightened entrepreneur. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show, dedicated to the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide, with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments Inc. and AhaMomentsInc.com. Her motto, oh yes, you can have what you want, and you deserve it too. Join us for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened beings worldwide. I am Mari, and welcome. It's Tuesday. I'm really excited for today's show. We are going through a huge shift in energy, and this is the halfway point of the year, right? We're 6 months in, and we're getting ready to go into the summer solstice, and we also have a very special full moon coming up, I believe on the 23rd, and the summer solstice is on the 21st. And then next week we have Mercury going into retrograde, I believe, on the 26th. So we really have a lot going on. And whenever that happens, I love to call my go-to girl for all things planetary and energetic and planetary, healing and all of the earth energies. I love to go to my go-to girl, my dear friend Allison Hayes, the rock girl. And she's going to be joining us today. We're going to be doing some chatting about what's really happening, what the solstice means, and what you can do to harness the energy, because this is a great time to do what we talk about each week. We always talk about, following the energy and allowing yourself to go with the flow of what the seasons are doing and what the various planets are doing and what the moon cycles are doing, and it just helps if you have a little bit more knowledge so that you can harness this energy and use it for what it's meant to be used for, and refrain from doing things that probably won't work during that time. And throughout the year, we have various transition points from season to season and solstice to solstice, and various high points and then a few low points. And so we're going to be talking all about that tonight. But before we do that, I just want to do a little housekeeping, and then we're going to bring Allison on. And I also want to give you, I guess the first thing we'll do for housekeeping is to give you the call-in number. So many of you have called in already. Allison will be doing some stone readings tonight with the crystals. The number is 347-215-9485. It's 347-215-9485. So if you'd like to potentially get a little time with Allison and her stones, which are just extraordinarily magical, be sure to call in sooner than later so Sam can get you in the queue for us to take your question. So the one big piece of housekeeping I have for this week is that Rudy Hunter and I are doing our Midsummer Power Boost course. That's going to start on July 8th, but our early registration ends this Thursday on June 20th. So if you want to save the $100, we are almost sold out with our early registration spots. So if you'd like to get one of those spots, please register ASAP. We had a few thousand of you listen last week to last week's show, and it's looking very similar today. So please be sure to sign up if you're planning on taking the class and you want to save the $100. The website to do that is AhaMomentsInc.com/Power Boost. So that's AhaMomentsS as in Sam, INC.com/Power, POWER, Boost, BOOST. And on that page you can see all of the all of the description and everything and get all the details. Okay, so that ends. That $100 ends at midnight on June 20th, wherever you are in the world. So don't worry if you're, in Australia or Scotland or wherever you are. We have a lot of people registering from overseas, so that's good. And all the classes will be recorded, so if you can't be online, you definitely don't want to miss that particular class because all of the activations and things that we will be doing will be brand new and exclusive to us for that class. So if you've been following his work, it's not going to be the same old thing. All right, so that's that. I just needed to announce that. And so now what I want to do is shift gears and talk about our week ahead. We have a big week ahead. So I'm going to say hi to Allison. Hi, Allison. How are you?
Hey, Mari. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm psyched to be here.
You're like my sister. It's funny. This is like becoming an annual thing.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this for years now. You know this? I mean, if we look back in the archives, we have a gazillion shows now. So welcome back, Allison. I'm thrilled, and I told everyone in the email to bring a notebook. And I'm saying this again: if you guys are listening in, you want to have a notebook for this because once Allison winds up, you'll be amazed at the amount of information that comes forward. So. Let's catch everybody up on what you're doing these days because I know, Allison's other name is the Rock Girl. And do you want to take people through it? Because some people may not know you. There's a short version of how you got to be the world-renowned expert on, and aficionado on all things crystals and planetary healing.
Oh, okay. Short version is, hi, my name's Allison. My friends call me the Rock Girl. I basically, I've worked with stones most of my life. I grew up on a farm in a very rural area where there weren't a lot of people, and so I had the animals as my friends. I grew up, with horses and chickens and sheep and cats and everything, and they were my friends, and then, nature and the stones. And so I've always kind of, felt most comfortable about them. And I actually went to a friend's school in Doylestown, actually Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and they encouraged this kind of talk to nature, which was great. And so I didn't, I felt very comfortable, cultivating that as a young child. And then I hit high school, and I was thrust into more of a metropolitan area where I try to be normal. And I put the stones away, and I put the psychic stuff away for a little while, and it just came seeping out. And interestingly enough, no matter where I went and I pulled out my rocks, everybody would call me the Rock Girl. So when it came time to doing this professionally and finding a website, I just thought, hey, let me see if that URL is available, and sure enough it was. And so, throughout my entire life I've been working with, just Mother Earth and nature and just kind of connecting and utilizing stones. And I was fortunate enough to find a stone teacher early on in my years. I am 47 and proud to be 47, and I started this journey as a young child. I had a lot of kind of psychic stuff going on, and it made me feel odd and weird. And so I kind of sought out the holistic healing side, like the Reiki, to kind of figure out what was wrong with me and balance that out. And the rest is kind of history, really. I've always been considered, a little bit different, and halfway through my life, somewhere in the mid-30s, I learned to embrace that. And my purpose, my job, my passion in life is really to help other people embrace their differences and really empower the spiritual warrior within. And over the years, I've studied psychic development, and a lot of this, Mari, has started out as personal growth and spiritual transformation. What's going on with me? Why do I feel different? Why do I see different things? Why am I hearing different things? And so I studied psychic, I studied rocks, I studied Reiki, and somewhere along the way, connected to this whole planetary healing thing, because I knew that there was more. And in the last 10, 12 years, I've been able to kind of put it all down, on a website called therockgirl.com, and out of that website sprouted it's actually sacredstoneschool.com, where I'm teaching a lot of this stuff. And that's kind of in a nutshell who I am and what I do. I practice all of those modalities as well as teach and do psychic readings. And really 2013 and 14 is really about developing my school and getting it out there and having it become more available to people throughout the country and actually the world. I have a lot of international clients, and, of course, to help them connect to spirit through the psychic readings and embrace this new shift of 2013 and beyond. That's the short version.
Awesome. Well, that was really, really, really good. Clearly, you've been talking a lot about all of this because you've got it really succinct. And I just want to say my experience with you, because I know we met many years ago at this point, and I remember sitting down with you my very first session and just having I had asked Robin, who was hosting you, for some paper, and I had like 2 sheets of legal paper, and I went through those in about 4 minutes. and I was like, oh my gosh. And ever since, it was just like, love at first sight. I mean, I couldn't believe how much, how amazing you are and how in depth and you're just a vat of knowledge. So I'm really excited, and wisdom for sure. So I'm really excited about today's show. So let's jump in, because we have a lot to talk about, and I see a ridiculous number of people on the lines to talk with you tonight. So I want to be able to get to as many of those calls as we can. Let's talk about the solstice first, because I know that's first up on the 21st. Can you? You're like the queen of knowing what all these different things are. We hear about these various markers of the year, and can you talk about what the solstice actually is, and then we can talk about some of the pros and maybe cons, if there are any, of this time.
Okay, absolutely. Well, basically, the definition of a solstice is when the sun appears to have reached its highest or lowest annual altitude in the sky above the horizon. So, in the summer solstice, which occurs June 21st, it is at the highest peak of where it's going to be for the year, and it's the longest day of the year. And in the winter, weirdly, I love the June solstice, but my heart for some reason is really in the winter solstice. So maybe we'll talk about that in December. But that's when the sun is at its lowest and the shortest day of the year. And it's there's so many different meanings. There's the scientific, the metaphysical. I really want to talk about the mystical. The solstices, obviously, together with the equinoxes, which are, occur in September and March, are connected with the seasons, okay? And in many cultures, the solstices mark the beginning or the midpoint of winter and summer. And so it's really about change. And when you think about the seasons, they kind of lull and kind of roll into one from another. I mean, how many times is it like March, and the next thing you know it's May, and then the next thing you know it's September? And it's really kind of like the tides. They kind of just happen, and there's a gentle shift. And I love that word. I love the shift. And, It's all about the shifting of energies and moving forward, and the slow stirring of the cauldron or the pot, if you will. And it's really a catalyst for change. And I love the solstices because it really is a way of reconnecting to Mother Earth as she goes through her shift, because the Earth really reacts to where the sun is and of course the moon. And it's interesting, this particular solstice, the summer solstice, is when the sun is at its highest with that day, and the day is longest. But then, in a weird kind of twist of energy, the sun starts, kind of getting shorter and shorter each day, and as you prepare for the winter. So nothing stays the same. And, these slow, steady subtle changes of the earth really kind of, if you connect to the earth, and there's so many different ways to do it. It's connecting with the trees, with the bodies of water, with the soil. I do it through rocks as well. It just keeps our body in tune and in what I like to call a harmonic resonance, not only with the planet but with each other. And so that's what I get really excited about, and what I can talk more about are the stones to help you do that. And another interesting thing is, I was sitting here, thinking about the show and all of this other stuff, and technically it is the longest day of the year, and you have a lot of sun energy. And what I was craving is the moon energy to balance this out. And so, what I like to do is work with a lot of stones that carry that energy of the moon during the solstice, and then in the winter solstice we work with fire stones, like pyrite and sunstone and things like that, and to achieve that beautiful balance. And a lot of times I take my cue from Mother Earth as far as adjusting my equilibrium, and as you well know from working with energy, that once you get into equilibrium with energy, the planet, the divine, your life has this magical, and one of my favorite words, mystical way of coming into its own alignment, and all of these wonderful synchronistic events begin to open up. So I know a lot of us, we're intellectual, we try and plan out our life, and I've just learned in the last couple of years to throw up the reins, let the universe do the work, and I just stay connected here to Mother Earth, and things have a way of working themselves out.
Oh, absolutely. I like the idea of the solstice being the longest day, and of wanting to balance with the moonstone, I'm saying the moonstone, but that's what I was thinking the other day. I have to pull out my moonstone. But we also now have an interesting phenomenon because we also have a full moon, and it happens to be the super full moon, so it's like when the moon is the closest to the earth of all the moons. Can you talk about full moon energy and what that does for us? Because I think having the combination of the two within a few days of each other has to have something special going on about it, doesn't it?
Oh my God, I get goosebumps like when I think about it. Like this is it's going to be like the sun is at its most powerful, and the moon is at its most powerful. And of course, a lot of you already know that moon is divine feminine energy, and the sun is the divine masculine. And so it is such a wonderful day to take an evening. A 24-hour period. Actually, I think it's about 48 hours that it's really going to have that amazing energy. But to really supercharge both the masculine and feminine within us, and also connect to that energy of the sun, of course, and the moon. And so for me, it is the ultimate period of empowerment. The ultimate period of empowerment. And I love to work with the sun to kind of burn off all of the old karmic contracts and karmic debt. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But then the moon brings in all of this new energy. And so it's a great way of shedding of the old and attracting and bringing in the new. And there's so many new and amazing things. Mari, it's been so crazy because my schedule has been so crazy the last 2 to 3 years. And there's been this very strange sense of quiet, of stillness in the last 21 days. And I thought, this is weird. And I just kind of, I'm down in North Carolina now, and I'm just embraced in the bosom of Mother Earth down here. The hills, the mountains down here are amazing, the rivers, the trees. And I said, oh, God, I gotta listen what's going on. And what was crazy, and I think a lot of the listeners out there are going to kind of relate to this, a lot of times we get on this routine, and the minute there's a change in that routine, we start to panic.
Yes.
In the last 21 days, I'm like, oh, dear, like something feels weird. If it feels weird, good, not bad, but what am I supposed to be listening to here? And somehow, for me, I like to do active meditation, like walking my dog, riding my bike, gardening, things like that. And I realized that my life is about to completely change on an energetic level in or around, this summer solstice, full moon, because that strong energy is going to burn off the residue of this karmic stuff, and the new moon is going to supercharge it with all of this divine and feminine energy. Now, I want to talk about, I know I was on your show a couple times, we were talking about the shift in 2012 and what that meant, and I was, saying that I was really looking forward to the next 500 years of the Golden Age, which is the next 500 years going into this new world age. A lot of people out there know that the ending of 2012 signified the end of the Mayan calendar, which was one world age that lasted 5,125 years. And now here we are. We're living history. We made it through the turning of the page of one world age calendar into the other. And what's so great is that a lot of us, especially us who work as energy workers, can push the reset button and raise the energy for the next world age. And I really believe that this solstice combined with this super moon coming up is an opportunity for all of us to do that. And so you can sense my excitement. So, Mari, it's not only going to be something for each and every one of us, individually, but the power of the collective consciousness. I mean, this is what we've been training to do for the last 15, 20, 30 years,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is the payoff. This is the payoff for all the hell we were going through the last few years.
Exactly. And speaking of hell, I just want to touch on how to utilize this solstice energy of this hot, longest day of the sun to burn off old karmic patterns and karmic debt, okay? Now, I've been actually, through my readings, as you well know, you do them too, you get some insight and some major information, not only for your clients, but from spirit, for the universe in general, and for, the collective consciousness. And so a lot of karmic stuff has been coming up. And, there's karmic debt and there's karmic contracts. And a lot of karmic contracts for people, for souls who are in the physical incarnation today, have been coming to completion in 2011 and 2012. So we can sign new karmic contracts going forth in 2013 and beyond in this new energy. And a lot of people are asking, what's the difference between karmic debt and karmic contracts? And I just want to take a moment and touch on that. Karmic debt feels like a punishment, you see? And karmic contracts feel more like a duty, you see? And so
yes.
I think a lot of us can relate to that. And a lot of people who have, come to the completion of their karmic contracts, it's just like, okay, we're coming to the end of our lease. We're coming to the end of this contract. It's the same kind of feeling. We fulfilled our duty. I mean, I was married for 15 years, and at the end of it, I fulfilled the karmic contract to be with that particular person, and now it's time to kind of move on and see what the universe has in store for me. It never felt like, well, maybe at the end it felt like punishment. I won't lie. But really, if I scroll back over the last 15 years, it was really a duty, a soul contract that needed to be fulfilled in this lifetime so he could move on to another one. Karmic debt, okay, it feels like a punishment and often is very easily recognized by patterns that are repeated throughout this lifetime and previous ones. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. This, by the way, everybody, is where you get the notebook out, if you didn't already notice.
All right. That's why God made archives, right? So we can go back and listen.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, karmic patterns, they feel very punitive. You often ask yourself, why me? Or not again. For me, I have a couple karmic contracts, and I'll use myself as an example. I always, I was lucky to grow up in a very wealthy family, and that lasted for about 15 years. And then my father, he passed away, and we were left basically, not very wealthy. And it was just torn away. And then I worked for another 15 years, and then, the good old stock market, tore that away, And I said, oh, my goodness, there's a karmic pattern here. There's a karmic debt here. And it occurs every 15 years where everything that I've owned and worked so hard for is torn away. And I thought, well, okay, I'm going to change that. And I did a lot of channeling with my stones and kind of got some answers as to why past life regressions can definitely help you get to the root of karmic debts, so you can actually heal them on a soul level. And how have I done? Yeah, how I've done that is through Reiki. I teach Reiki. I teach traditional Usui Reiki, Roxanne Reiki, and Sacred Energy. And in the master level of the traditional Usui Reiki, I teach how to, through the master symbol, the traditional master symbol. When I attune people, I bundle it with the long-distance symbol, and not only are we capable of healing, on the soul level of this lifetime, but because when I attune people or I work with that energy when I'm working with my clients, I bundle that with a long-distance energy so I can do soul levels on other lifetimes. And so I was able to do this on myself, and I said, this debt needs to be fulfilled, and I went through the necessary steps and the healing requirements. And, I said, okay, guess what? Now we are, I've done a lot of healing on that. What next? What next? Oh, my gosh, I have a blank canvas. I have a vortex. Holy cow, I got to fill it. And I felt myself, Mari, going back to my old patterns. And I was like, no, that's where consciousness comes in. And that's where you have to set that reset button. And Citrine Druzy is excellent to do it. And I know that you have a beautiful Citrine Druzy church, okay?
Yes,
I have seen that myself. And it sounds naughty, but she really does have a rock that's called a Citrine Church, and it's an amazing. You should actually do some karmic healing and karmic debt release with that for your clients.
Yeah.
And you can utilize that stone to kind of clear any old karmic debt, obviously with soul level healing. But you know what? The tough part is the what's next part. What do I fill it with? What do I deserve? What do I want? Who am I? You see?
Absolutely.
And so, getting back to this solstice and getting back to the super moon, it's a wonderful, ideal, perfect time, and I feel so gifted to be able to be on this planet at this time to live through this. And I hope people who are dialing in and listening today, kind of can connect to this energy as well. First, we're having the solstice, which is a great way to release and burn off the residue of karmic contracts, what we contracted to do. I'll stay married to him and take care of him for 15 years, and then I'm done, kind of thing. And then also the karmic debts, like, oh, God, I got to pay this off. Let me not, if I don't completely pay it off, then I got to repeat this pattern. And so that requires a lot of soul level healing, energy work, and of course stones can accelerate that as well. And then, that comes on the 21st, and then on the 23rd is the super moon, and I'm going to stand outside in my backyard surrounded by crystals, naked as a jaybird, okay? Drawing down that moon energy and bringing in all of this new energy, and I'm going to let the universe provide for me. I'm not going to limit myself with, this is what I think or this is what I want. I'm just going to say, bring it on, baby, bring it on. And so, that's what I'm doing between June 21st and June 23rd.
Every day naked?
Well, the sun, not so much. I'll go out before the hours of 11 a.m. and after 3 p.m. And I basically constructed this magnificent crystal garden with I have a 250-pound witch's finger in the back, which is smoky quartz and silver rutile, and I have a 350-pound rose quartz scepter, and oh my goodness, I have the perfect stone for the new moon or the super moon, and it's black moonstone. which is connected to,
gracious.
yes, deep, deep, deep within the Mother Earth, and it has a silver sheen and flash on it. And so I'll be tiptoeing around, kind of playing out in the backyard. So, yeah, for 2 or 3 holes. I think I want to do it for 3 days, Mari, 3.
Okay. So tell everyone that people hear this all the time, and they hear about, women going out under the moon naked. What's the purpose of the naked part?
Okay. Actually, in some people like to call it sky clad. My stone teacher Bobby would dance around his fairy circle at night sky clad, and I did not witness that personally. I loved him dearly, but they called him the supreme troll for a reason. He looked like one. But the whole nakedness is kind of oh gosh, where do we start? Well, first of all, being naked is shedding things that kind of cloak you and cover you up. And so in the process of undressing, or I like to say unveiling, it's really kind of getting down to the essence of who you are. It is also a huge exercise in self-love and embracing all of yourself. And, listen, at 47, I'm happy with the way I look. I really just want to be healthy now, and we all know that moonlight is quite flattering. Okay, but when it comes down to the actual energy of it all, I'll tell you what. I like to do, and people are thinking, oh, she does readings in the nude. No, actually I don't, but sometimes over the phone I might be in my pajamas. But when I do readings, whether it's in person or over the phone, and when I teach class and I do healings, I always like to be barefoot because the connection to the earth for me is that much is that much stronger and powerful. And so I cannot, I will not teach a class with shoes on. I know that sounds crazy. I have to take them off because when I teach and when I do readings, I channel this amazing energy. And for people out there, especially those that have taken my classes, they can resonate with the fact that, I become a channel and the energy enters through the top of my high crown chakra, goes all the way through me, through the earth chakra. And when I'm doing healing, teaching Reiki, or readings or channeling stones, it's the color of the inside of an abalone shell. A lot of people say, channel white light, channel pink, and that's great. If it works for you, that's amazing. For me, I find that when my energy is that smoking hot as far as connecting to the divine and the earth, it's a through and through. It's always coming from above, going all the way through, and I'm simply holding the energy and enjoying the ride, of course. And it is that abalone shell color, which is really all of the colors of the rainbow, wrapped in silver and gold, which are, divine energies, because all colors carry the energy. But what happens is in the process of channeling that energy, it raises my frequency, and it really is healing from the inside out for me, whether it's doing readings or teaching class or doing Reiki. It brings my frequency in my chakras and my auric field up so high that it burns off, any negative energy that's there, whether it's from other people, whether it's from other lifetimes, whether it's from, my own mental or emotional planes, and it keeps me nice and clean. And I love that. It's just like water. When there's a water main break, they say boil it to boil off the bacteria. And in running Reiki and high psychic energy, it burns it off, and it's a true high. And if I don't run Reiki or teach Reiki, at least once or twice a month for a good 3-day period, my hands hurt. Even if I do it on myself or do it on others, it has to be that high frequency that I teach in class. And it's almost like I can't live now without exercise, and I can't live without Reiki or psychic stuff. But I'm fortunate enough to do psychic stuff all the time. And so that really is the way to connect to the earth. And getting back to your question about the naked thing, is that there's a sense of humbleness when you go out in your backyard and you take your clothes off. It keeps you humble. It keeps you human. And also, for me, it's, I do wear lovely rock jewelry, and I love my junk. I love my stuff. But when I do run Reiki, or I go outside and I draw down, the power of the moon. When I channel that energy, the less on me, the better. Because going back to, the frequency of a stone, it's the same as the frequency as a human being. And so we can actually light up and become our own human crystal. And the less stuff that's stuck on there, whether it's clothes, buttons, zippers, jewelry, the better. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it makes sense, except for the poor folks who don't have Asheville, North Carolina, with rivers and streams and mountains.
Well, come on down.
So,
come on
like,
down.
For those the ones who are sitting in New York City, please don't go do this. It's your in your house. So, what can people wear? Can't you just wear like all white or something? So that you can,
white is good. Any color that you really resonate with, And
okay.
Listen, I lived in New York City for years, and luckily in the Rock Room, New York City, there's a rooftop, and so I have been known to unveil up there once or twice.
Good Lord.
Yeah, but it's New York City, no one cares, and no one cares. But you can wear white. I like to wear loose fitting clothing. And if you want to get down to the nitty gritty, if you wear the loose fitting clothing, you can leave the underwear off, And white, lavender. Some people, I know that one of my lovely friends, Linda Pink, is listening in tonight, and she loves to wear pink. And so whatever color that you resonate with, and I find personally, if it's all one color and if it's all pink or all purple or all white, that color does carry frequency, and so if it's the same color, it's a stronger channel. But I would suggest do try it barefoot and without the jewelry. And you know what can really throw me off is a watch. I used to wear watches all the time, and I do from time to time. But I don't do it when I'm doing readings or healings or my channeling or working with stones, because remember, what powers most watches are quartz crystals. And so when you have that frequency ticking and you're trying to connect to a stone or to a frequency of spirit or Mother Earth, it can interrupt that. So I would say you might want to take the watches off. Some people find if they wear jewelry, it might empower them. So, depending on the jewelry. I actually have Lemurian sea crystal earrings that I like to wear with nothing else.
It's amazing. Well, we have a zillion people who want a reading with you right now. And Sam's been going through and getting everyone in the queue. So are you ready to do a few readings?
Wait, let me take my clothes off. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Yes, I'm ready. I've had these stones all fired up all day, ready to rock and roll for your show.
Okay, good. So we're going to do one question per person. Please don't go into, and oh, by the way, because we have so many people, I just have to put the little ground rules up at the top of the, before we start. And with the stones, they choose 3 numbers. Is that how it works again?
Yeah, 3 numbers between 1 and 42. I actually added a stone for 2013. It's a magic stone, and if anybody picks it, I'll let them know what it is. It's a number, 3 numbers between 1 and 42, and then I'll guide them through the rest. I just want people to be really focused. The numbers are actually connected to the stones. I'm going to tune in through Reiki energy, so don't use your intellect too much. Go with the energy. And for sake of time, the more specific the question, the more specific the answer. If you want to know about relationships, just ask about that particular relationship today so we can get through as many callers as possible.
Okay, awesome. That's good. So none of the what do you see for me questions, right? So
just jump in. Yeah, jump in.
Something specific. Okay, great. So we have had some people waiting on the line for quite some time. Sam, you ready? Okay. Let me just see, because he was screening calls. I just want to make sure he's back. Okay, great. So why don't we take Shawnee from California? Hi, Shawnee. How are you?
Where are you?
Are you there? Okay, there we are. Shawnee? Hello? Okay, we're going to move on. Okay, Barbara in New York.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Barbara. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very quickly, I've been alone for almost 20 years, and I met a man last month named Miguel who really attracts me. And it also brings up all my insecurities that, I'm not young enough, thin enough, pretty enough, whatever. But I'd really love to have this relationship have a chance to expand past acquaintanceship. I don't know how to pose a question more specifically than that about that relationship.
Okay, so you want to know if this is going to move forward, and if so, how, and when, correct?
Perfect.
All right, Barbara, thank you. 3 numbers between 1 and 42.
What came was 23, 38, 17.
8. Okay. And what was the last one?
17.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, a number between 1 and 4.
3.
3, a number between 1 and 6.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, the potential here is what the guides are saying is the word vast, V-A-S-T. Okay. Now, there is a great attraction that's showing in the second stone, which is the orange calcite. It does show a mutual attraction. I don't know if that was one of your questions, okay, but the guides are saying it is a mutual attraction, and what you are sensing is real. Were you thinking, is this one way? Am I making too much of this?
Yes, because he's a bit younger than I am, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So the guys are already validating smoky quartz. You're on the right track. This is real. What you're sensing is correct. The next stone is the orange calcite. That's all about an attraction, and the guides are showing that it is a mutual attraction. Now, the center stone is labradorite, which is an excellent stone. It's a stone of illumination, and it's a stone of a change of perspective. And really, should you want this relationship to move on, to become more, to move forward, okay?
Right. Yep.
They're showing that right now it's great. It's very good that you called in because you have to stop, you have to pause, and you really kind of have to take a new perspective on who you are now as opposed to before. Remember what we talked about earlier in the show about burning off old karmic contracts. I don't see any karmic debt here, okay? There's a karmic contract that you have fulfilled, okay, about this self-doubt. All right, and I don't know why you contracted that. That's between you and the divine. But you have an opportunity to push the reset button and embrace who you are. The solstice is coming up. Burn off those old patterns. Use some citrine to kind of dissolve those old patterns, and then bring in this new moon energy with the sacred Lemurian seed crystal. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but this labradorite is saying a shift of perspective, look within. This has vast potential to move forward for personal growth and spiritual transformation, not only for you, but for Miguel. But it's not going to go past boo if you don't shift this perspective about yourself and embrace this beauty, knowledge, and wisdom within you. Then you have the fluorite stone, which is all about making sense out of a bunch of chaos. And so it's showing that you have these feelings of empowerment and divine feminine energy kind of coming in. Embrace those, make sense of those. And the last stone here is the sacred Lemurian seed crystal, which is a symbol of a very strong yet gentle divine feminine energy and wisdom. And it's really of the mature woman. Of the wise woman, and that's really what you need to embrace in yourself. And although Miguel may be younger in kind of years, this kind of years, energetically he is a good match for you, and he has as much to learn from you as you from him. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely, all of what you said.
Excellent. And so some of the 2 stones that you really want to work with are the labradorite, which is the stone of illumination, shifting perspective, and the sacred Lemurian seed crystal. Really, if you didn't listen to the beginning of the show, scroll back through archives, listen to how the sun can burn off old karmic patternings and really step out into the moonlight on the supermoon and bring in all of your wisdom. And, I guarantee you all of that electromagnetic frequency coming down from the moon is really going to supercharge you when you're awake. If you do it right and are kind and embracing within yourself, you're going to wake up feeling 20 years younger the next day. So I do hope that helps you.
That's so much younger than I am. So
well, there you go. See?
Right.
The universe has really kind of presented you with a wonderful opportunity to connect to that essence. So dig in. Take a big bite out of that. All right.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Take care, Barbara. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks.
Okay, well, that was a lively one.
Wow, 20 years younger. That's pretty good, huh, Mari?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look at Madonna. She's got like a guy who's 22 and she's like 56.
I know. That's great. That's great.
I know. J-Lo, too. Anyway.
They must be on to something.
I know. Absolutely. So that between Dancing Under the Moon Naked and the younger guy thing, I don't know. This show is a hot one.
That's right. You asked for it.
So then you get to dance under the moon naked with the young guy. Oh, okay. Let's just leave it. Okay. We're ready to hear. All right. So how about Mary Jo in California? Hi, Mary Jo. How are you?
Hi. And I'm plug my phone in because it's dying. Hold on a second.
No, we don't want that to happen.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, Mary Jo.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you taking my call.
Our pleasure. What would you like to know?
Well, kind of like the last lady, although I would just like to know if my karmic, contracts or whatever I've had in life for the last 10 years, I haven't chosen to be in a relationship. And my mother just died in the last couple of months, and a lot of things like that have happened, and I'm feeling more interested. I wasn't really interested too much. I have made bad choices in the past, and but I'd like to move forward, and I'd like to open myself up to that again, and I just want to know if there's anything I need to do first or learn first or clear first so that I make good choices this time.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Excellent. Excellent question. Okay, do you have your three numbers between 1 and 42?
Oh, three numbers between 1 and 42. 12, 22, and 36.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The number between 1 and 4?
4. I'm going to get a piece of paper. Hold on.
Okay. And a number between 1 and 6. Oh.
Sorry, because I had my notebook and everything upstairs, and I had to come downstairs to plug in my phone. Okay. So
okay.
Next.
Just one more number between 1 and 6.
6.
6. Okay, great. Excellent. Now, what this is with you is it's a similar question as the last person, but a different energy, a different answer. I like to say change the energy and you'll change the outcome. I haven't seen this setup of stones probably in all of my readings. The first stone is a rose quartz, which is matters of the heart. The second is green calcite, which is heart healing. Which is, it's a pink on the inside, green on the outside. A healthy heart chakra, although the charts today show just green, a healthy heart chakra, according to the ancient Egyptian etheric chakra system, is pink on the inside, green on the outside, like a watermelon. Okay? And so the pink is like the spirituality, the sweet stuff, and the green is more like the rind, which kind of holds everything together. Although it's not sweet and you really eat it, it is so important and so necessary because without that structure, the pink, there is no fruit. And our human body is actually fashioned after that. We have the physical on the outside and the spiritual on the inside, okay? So that's what I really, the guides really want you to focus on is really kind of rebalancing your heart chakra with the pink on the inside, the green on the outside. They're showing that the green is thicker than it normally would be because of heartache, and you're holding on to a lot of, residue from kind of, was there betrayal involved in one of your previous relationships?
Definitely. In fact, that was my ex-husband, and he's in town visiting my son and my daughter and their kids and stuff, so that probably triggers that also in me.
Yeah.
Right,
and
it's raw. I'm raw. I'm kind of raw. I'm feeling kind of raw.
Yeah, and that's so understandably so. And it's amazing how the universe is kind of bringing this up now when this solstice is coming up and the new moon is coming up. A lot of times, we have triggers that bring this to the surface so we can clear them. And so you want to thank the universe for that. And what I'd like you to do is kind of visualize your heart chakra being pink on the inside, green on the outside, in the same percentage as a watermelon. A really good stone to work with in this case would be watermelon tourmaline. Now, that's hard to find and expensive. So what you can do is you can work with a rose quartz and a green calcite, which are quite abundant and readily available if you want to utilize stones. If not, visualizations will work just fine. You want to bring up that heart chakra again to balance. I have an ex-husband too, and they're, I like to put them in the X in the past because, people said to me, how can you move on? And I said, because I don't want to waste any more time. You know, and that's where you've arrived, which is so amazing. And so know that there's something better coming up. The center stone is carnelian, which is the stone of the sacral chakra, which is about creativity, and it's about opportunities. So there's going to be more opportunities this summer really coming up starting in July to meet other people. And the guides want to make sure that you get out and go out and meet that because there's going to be a group of people, in particularly a man who's going to actually be very interested in who you are. And you're going to be like, wow, this feels great. Leading to positive change in the month of August. It's an orange calcite, again, but a different type. It's about positive change. And then finally, come September, October, November, there's some type of clarity. Are you selling your mother's house? Are you moving somewhere?
Well, I'm not planning on moving anywhere, and my mom's house has been sold a long time, but there has been a lot of problems with my mom's estate. My family member got involved in it, like when she first sold her house, and hasn't been fair in distributing the, whatever little wealth there was. There's been a big fight in my family about this. It's been really awful. This whole last 3 years has just been a nightmare, and I try to kind of stay out of it, but I can't totally stay out
well,
of
I
it.
see that resolving and moving on, like late September, October, November. And somehow by releasing that and moving forward, you're going to be able to release that last thread of residue as far as the past goes because there's bitterness and pain involved in the heart chakra there as well. But what you can do is you can really utilize the energies of this solstice to burn off anything that you want, that you're ready to let go of, okay, as far as the romantic relationships go, and also really connect with this supermoon and bring in the self-love, because as soon as you get that heart chakra balanced, you'll be kind of opening these beautiful French door windows. What they're showing is windows to your soul and letting true love come in. There is someone coming in for you. It shows that you have some releasing and healing to do for the rest of the year. You will bump into this person sometime. They're showing the possibility very strong this summer, but a relationship really won't be ushered in until next spring. And again, the timing is really up to you when you push the start button and you're ready for this. But the guides have really laid out a nice, clear path for you, and it's something to be very excited about. So I hope that helps you.
Okay, yeah, because there is a person that I've kind of known off and on for about, 9 months, maybe even a year, but I've never made any real move, and, I don't see him very often. His initials are DK.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really work with names or initials. I work on the soul
Okay.
level, and we've had so many incarnations and names and genders.
Right.
But,
sure.
you know, is there an opportunity to connect with this person this summer? Because they are, I don't know whether it's at a party, a barbecue.
I'll probably see him actually Saturday.
Okay, yeah, because they are showing a connection, but it's going to be kind of slow in the simmering, but do be open to it. But remember to take a look and really visualize your heart chakra with the pink in the middle and the green around the outside. And when you can hold that energy for 3 to 4 days, you know that you're ready to move forward. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And kind of check in with yourself and play a game.
Sure.
Like, oh, what's my heart chakra look like now? You see? And when you get to that point, the energy will stabilize and you'll be ready to open those windows. So do enjoy.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Okay. Have a great night. Thank you for calling in.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So, we have Diane from Portugal. Hi, Diane. Let's see if we can.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for being up so late.
I'm good. I know. Thank you for taking my call. You were talking about the sun and how we can take advantage to burn our karma and bring in the new with the moon. What steps can we take? I've never done this before. And what exactly can we do? I want to try and burn off some financial karma.
Oh, it's excellent question. We only have a few minutes in a nutshell to go over this. I do teach this stuff in depth in my classes, but what you can do is really, interestingly enough, a lot of this karmic patterning, a lot of the karmic debt, a lot of the karmic duty, the contracts are held in the auric field. If you look at a picture of, if you Google chakras and auric field and you really pay attention to the auric field has 4 layers, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, much like the rings on a tree. And a lot of times these karmic patterns, whether they're debt or whether they're contracts, are circulating in your auric field. And what you want to do is clean them out. Some really good chakra balancing exercises, cleansing the auric field. That stuff is really, really going to help. What I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in with your permission, take a look on where it is and give you an exercise. Everybody is different. You know, they hold it, a lot of times it can be held in the physical body, on the emotional plane, the mental, or the spiritual. So do I have your permission to kind of take a look at where this stuff is?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, do you have shoulder pain on the left side, arm pain, numbing, buzzing?
I did a few days ago, weeks ago, and for like a week I had that pain on my shoulder.
Yes, indeed. Now, what I'm doing is I'm connecting to you through long-distance Reiki, bundled with that soul master symbol, and it zoomed right in, and there's heat up there, and it's caught between the emotional and mental planes of not only this lifetime, but 2 to 3 lifetimes ago. Okay? So that is where this financial burden is. Are you right-handed in this lifetime?
Yes.
Okay, so this is on the receiving side, so it has something to do on the soul level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot you, if you don't mind, with a little long-distance Reiki here to kind of break that up. You should feel it tingling down the back of your arm and out the left pinky. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
I know, and where are you, my love? In Portugal. Okay, this stuff really does work. Now, what I want you to do is take a deep breath in through your nose, but imagining it coming from the top of your head like a portal, okay? I want you to take a deep breath in, hold it in your solar plexus, do that with me, and blow it out through your feet, okay? Now, as I'm talking, do that 2 more times. What that's going to do is kind of break that up, and we're going to send it down through the earth chakra, okay? And this is just the first domino in your healing experience, all right? So do that 2 more times, and what we're going to do is we're going to start moving that energy. The reason that you felt that pain is because you are very sensitive to the Earth's frequencies. I don't even have to ask you to validate that because the guides are already showing that. And you can, by connecting to this Earth energy, you can move this stuff out much quicker. And so on the solstice, it would be really great if you did this exercise, if you realize where this karmic burden is in your auric field, and all day long, whenever you think of it, do 3 rounds of breathing and just push this stuff through the bottom of your feet, all the while inhaling through the top of your head, blowing it out, and then letting the divine energy come in and fill in that area, okay? You don't know, it's interesting. One of my master teachers says, do you look through the garbage when you take it out, or you just take it out? You don't really need to go into the what, why, and how. It is a karmic burden, a financial burden from not only this lifetime, but they're showing me 3 other lifetimes, and you're clearing it. 2013 is a great, a year for that, and just get it out of body. A great stone to work with in or around you for that day is citrine. Citrine druzy is a nice cleanser, most excellent. Smoky quartz if you have it. Moving on to the moon. What you can do is you just can go outside naked, and if you don't want to go outside naked, then just kind of stand in front of the window with some, a lovely flowing color. Put your arms up like you are drawing down the moon, like they do in all of those beautiful paintings, and welcome that moon energy in. And what I like to do is I like to just say, listen, fill me up with what I need to know. Recharge me and allow me to find the path that is in front of me. Allow it to unfold. And it's really going to fill up your gas tank. It's going to heal all of those auric field infractions, and the healing process will begin. A really great stone to work with for the moon, again, is black moonstone if you have it. If not, regular moonstone, labradorite, and, of course, the wonderful, beautiful rose quartz. So I do hope that helps you.
Of course. Just one tiny little question. With the moon, how long should I stay in the moon receiving the energy?
Excellent question. You'll know it.
Sorry.
What's going to happen? Yeah. What's going to happen is you're going to sit there, you're going to go out, or you go in front of in the window, and you're going to feel a buzz, and then this almost electromagnetic kind of click. And what's happening is you're attuning. And it could be 90 seconds. It could be 3 minutes. It usually doesn't last any longer than 9 minutes. Sometimes if it's slow moving, it might be 15 if you have blockages. But if you're so sensitive as what you felt 3 days ago as far as that pinging and burning in your shoulder, it's going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. And it's going to feel like, when you go to fill up your gas tank and then that thing starts clicking like it's full, you're going to feel that, and you're going to feel a release. And you know what? Hold those stones in your hands, at the very least, a rose quartz, and when the stone heats up and starts to cool down, that's when you know you're done. The moon is very powerful. You're very sensitive, and the energies fly fast. So, and you can go out and you can recharge yourself every moonlight that way as well, every full moon. But this one's a super moon. So, most excellent questions. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the call.
Thank you, Diane. Bye-bye. Take care. So I can't believe we're at the end of another show. I wanted to ask before we end, can you give everyone a couple of tips just on how to clear their crystals for
this absolutely.
This big auspicious time?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I want to debunk the salt water myth. Please don't put your stones or soak your stones in salt or salt water. It is very caustic. And as it burns your own skin, it burns the stones. The best way to clear the stones is to smudge them with white sage. If you want to charge them, you can just put them out in this beautiful moonlight, from sundown to sun up, or you can get a piece of selenite, Selenite, which carries the frequency of the moon, and the root word of selenite is selene, which means moon anyway. And you can put your stones on or around the selenite. And so that's the best way to clear them is with the white sage, okay? Or you can bury them in the earth, but who's got time for that in these busy days? But, a smudge of sage. And what happens, Mari, is you light the sage, you smudge it, and then when it starts to dissipate, the smoke starts to disappear and burn out on its own, then you're done. It could just take less than a minute usually, 60 to 90 seconds at the most. And then if you're inside and you don't have access to the moon, put it on or around selenite, or leave it out in the moonlight. Now, in order to take advantage of this, you just want to leave it in the moonlight to charge. If you leave it out in the sun, it begins to burn and it begins to dim, and people are like, "What's happening?" Well, what it's doing is it's kind of recluding, like a turtle going back into a shell. Remember, stones are buried in the womb of Mother Earth. They come from the earth. And as much as a lot of these books say to soak it in salt water, that's a myth. And so is setting it out in the sun to get supercharged, because it's, they were born underground, and they like the gentleness and the divine feminine energy of the moon. So the moon and Mother Earth, the sun is lovely, okay? If you want to leave them out in the sun, no more than 35 minutes at high noon. But I always put my stones out at night and take them in no later than 9 a.m. the next day. So I do hope that helps.
Excellent. Well, I want to say thank you, because you're always really good to me. I call you 13 hours of notice and say, hey, the guy said that you should be on the show, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Your little kids. I just wanted to see give everybody again your website so they can look you up. I know that you're going to Bimini, and I know your trip is sold out, but there'll be more things coming up. So why don't you give everybody your website one more time so they know where to get a hold of you?
Yes. Thank you. My main website is therockgirl.com, and my school is sacredstonesschool.com. sacredstonesschool.com. I have locations in Asheville, New York City, but I also travel to certain locations, and I teach there as well. I'm going to Pennsylvania in October, and so there's lots of fun and good times to be had at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. So thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Well, thank you for being on the show. And so, everybody, I want you to just enjoy this week. I know we have Mercury in retrograde. We'll talk about that next week. Let's just have fun with the moon and the solstice, and hopefully you can listen to the podcast. It'll be up in a few minutes after the show is over, if you want to listen again, if you missed any notes. And I guess we will just end now with my motto, which is, you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it too, and in this energy, anything is possible. See you next week, everybody. Take care. Good night.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.